Hello, good afternoon. My name is Elder Espedo. I'm a solution specialist from Ergosoft, and today I will be your host. I would like to welcome you to the Ergosoft webinar of Highlights version 16.2. During the webinar, if you have any question, please feel free to use the questions menu from our webinar. I will read and I will try to answer to your questions. At the end, I will give a time for answer the questions. So please understand if I will not answer to your questions right away. So to start, I will just open my control center. That is the first menu that you will see when you start Ergosoft, and where you will find all the models and where you can start them, and you can still do some setup of your session, and where you can find some of the tools. So in here is where you have two of the new tools that come with 16.2. The first one I will talk is a system guard. That's right here. It is a tool that comes to fulfill the need of the customers regarding the data that is generated during all the production. Because when you run a production, there is a lot of temporary files that are generated, and at the end of some time, it will allocate on your system and it will consume data that is not needed anymore. So with this tool, you can simply empty all the folders with the temporary files, or you can set it to be deleted after a certain amount of days. So I can unselect it or select it to auto delete, and here I can select the days that I want them to be on the system before be deleted. The second option that you have is the backups. This is really useful and even is a tool that advised to be used, because you know that if you're running your production and you have important data that you need to run your production smoothly, you should have a backup of that data. But to do that backup before, you needed to go to the right folder and copy it manually. So now it gives you the option to select a folder and to create a backup manually. Of course, there is an option for automatic that I will show. But before I go there, here you have a menu where you can choose which kind of files you want to be saved in the backup. Of course, that you choose files that you think that are priority for your production and to keep your session as you want. So in the first one, you have user files. Those are files that you are generating on the session as the print environments, cut environments, your presets that you do to the different application. So is everything new that you are creating. The second menu have the system and production files. So it is regarding your production. So the list of jobs that you are creating and that you want to keep track. And the last one is important color files. These will save the folder named color on your data folder that will contain measurements from the density, from the profiler, CPD files from the color GPS2, and Swatch Books, and so on. So this is the option that will save all that content related to the colors. Like if I open here my backup folder that I already did, if I open it, for example, in the color, this is all the information that will be saved when you select to save color data. And those are the folders that will be saved with all the options. So this is the essential information. Of course, you can select individually the ones you want or not. Plus, as I said, you can do it automatically. So here in the bottom, you can activate it to be an automatic backup, where you can create, you select a number of days that you want to the software take in consideration to create your backup. In this case, I have 2 days. So in every 2 days, it will generate this backup. And of course, I can set to a number of days to be deleted, because if you are saving the 2 days, you know that in the day 4 everything is running normally, and you have already another backup. So it means that the one that you did in the day 1 can be deleted, because it will be just data on your computer that is not useful anymore. And of course, you can limit a percentage of free space on your disk to don't allow the software to do it. Of course, if you're running out of free space on your disk, you can set, like in this case, 20. So the software knows if your disk space is below 20, it will not save a backup. So it will not fool your system. And one extra option that you have here is copy the folder. Copy folder means that we'll copy the complete user data folder. Of course, you can do it even manually, but just pay attention that when you do this, you will be copying everything. So it means a lot of data, much more than just a normal backup. And a lot of that data is not useful. But of course, you can always choose. And the last option is the disk space of server. So this is the tool that will give a warning to you when you are running a production if your computer is running off free space. So let's say I have a warning threshold that I limit at 30%, and my system just has 24% of free space. And I set to show warning. So when I start the software and I'm running the software, from time to time, it will give me a warning that I'm running out of space. This is important because a lot of people are running their production and they don't pay attention to the free space. And what happens? They start to get issues because the software cannot run when there is no free space, because it cannot generate raster data, for example. And this is a way to don't go in the way to these issues. So it's to prevent. It's a preventive tool. Okay, I will just close it. And now I will go to a new tool that is on this version, that you can see it from here. That's called Color Equalizer. I will not open it in here in the control center, but I will open it in the Job Composer. So this tool in the Job Composer can be found in the calibration menu. If you click on Alt, it will be shown in the bottom, or you can go to Tools, Linearization and Profile Tools, and you find it here in the bottom. So here I have the Color Equalizer. This is a tool that has been developed to try to help you to get similar results between print environments and different printers. In here you have 4 options. I would like to explain you briefly what it does. I want to divide it, let's say, in 3 groups. I will put the calculate target density and copy target density in first step, and I will put the copy print the profile as step 2 and measure target density as an extra. So first I will show you the first step that include these 2 tools, that they are used for different workflow. I will open the calculate target density, and to simplify and to explain you in the more simple way, I will create or simulate a specific situation that you can, for what you can use this tool. So let's say that I have my printer 1, that's one printer, and I want to calibrate this printer with different resolution, like I have printer 1 with 540 and the printer 1 with 720. So I want to calibrate this printer to different resolution, so 2 print environments. So what I can do when calibrate them to, in the end, I have a similar output. So I can do a linearization for this print environment and a linearization for my second print environment. So 2 print environments with different resolution and with different linearization. And what I can do, I can select it. So this is my master. And now what I do is calculate and apply target density. So now the tool will go through the density curves of both print environments and try and look for the optimized value that will match for both linearization. So in the end, they will have the same limit, but optimized. So I can start afterwards, go to the profile with my equal start point. So if now I click in here, it will create 2 print environments, a copy of them, but with a target density limitation. Of course, I can give it a tag so I can identify it. So I can say same target, for example. And now if I calculate and apply, and I will just close. If I choose one, if I go to the print environment list, I can see the 2 print environments already a copy with the target density generated by the software. For example, if I open it, you can see that has the limitation. Of course, this calculate target density can be used even if you have different printers, like I have printer 1 and printer 2 with linearization done. So I can do the same to have the same optimized target value for the different printers. But that's another application. I just wanted to give an example of an application that you can use so you can understand it better. So, copy target density. This is still as a first step. Of course, if you use calculate and target density, you don't need to use the copy target density because actually they are for different different situations. So when I want to use copy target density, if I open it, I will choose printer 1 that has already a linearization done and a profile. So is a print environment that I already have. This will be my situation. So I have a print environment already, and I want to calibrate, for example, another printer, and I want that second printer to have similar results to printer 1. But I already did my linearization and my profile, and they have limit, so I cannot just calculate a new target density, but I can copy the target density that exists already. So in this case, I would choose my printer 2 that I did the linearization, and I would copy the target density. I would just give it a different target name. And if I click copy target density, if I go to the list of the print environments, I have here my printer 2 that contain already the target density from the printer 1. Okay, so let's go back to color equalizer. So this was the first step, that is about density. So the second step would be the profile. So with this tool, copy printer profile, I can copy a profile from an existing print environment to the other ones. So for example, in this print environment, I already have a profile. If I want, I can copy to any other print environment. So for example, for the printer too, that I copy the target density. So they have the same target density. Now I can copy the printer profile. So now my printer 2 linearization, if I open it, it will contain the profile from the printer 1. So these two tools are, let's say, first step, and this is the second step. The fourth option that is here, that's called measure target density, is it has a different goal. Similar, but it works differently, let's say. So the measure target density is a tool that will generate a calibration chart that for example, I can create a new one, and I can choose the spectrophotometer I want to use. I can choose the number of patch for my chart and the dimensions of this chart should have. And what I can do with this chart, I can create it, I can save it. I will just show you how it will look. So in this case, the chart that I create has this look. And what I want to do with this. So let's think on this situation. I have Ergosoft and I have one machine that have been running with other system. And now I want to match or get similar results in Ergosoft as I had in the other system. So with this chart, I can take this chart to the other system, print it without color management, so it will be printed with the limitation that the other system has. And after printed in the other system, I will bring it to Ergosoft and I would measure. Of course, I will not measure, but I will load measurements that I already have. I would click OK. And now, what happened is that if I go to the density linearization, I will just go forward. And if I come to the target density settings here, if I go to import, I will see here the target density from that chart. So what happened here is that I'm collecting the information from how the other system is printing and bring it to Ergosoft. So I have a start point in Ergosoft to try to match the other system. And since you are talking about printing charts to try to achieve similar colors from other system or other machine, let's go to another new tool that is on the version 16.2. It's called the Swatch Matcher. I can find it from this menu. If I click on Alt, I will find it in here. Or I can go to Tools, Color and Special Features. Not here. Wait. And if I open this tool, I can print specific swatch books. So to explain it better, I will create once again a specific situation where you can use it. So I will close it first and I will open the swatch book. So in here in the swatch book, I have this color library that I've been using in production. It can be in other system or can be in another machine. And these are the reference. So these are my LAB values that I've been printing all the time. But I don't know if in reality the other system is printing exactly the same values. So when I print these colors in Ergosoft, they don't come exactly the same. They have a deviation. So how I can improve this color accuracy? So if I go to the Swatch Matcher, I can add a new I can select the chart or the library and the swatch book that I want to use. So is this one. I can create my chart based on the geometry of a spectrophotometer and the number of patch and the size. I can create a swatch book chart file. I will save it. So I will just show you what we'll create. So it will create a chart file with all the colors from the swatch book that I chose. And after, I will print this chart in the system that I've been using all the time. So I will print the chart, I will bring it to Ergosoft, I will go to Measure Swatch Book. Now I'm just loading measurements. So I measure the chart in Ergosoft, I click OK, and it automatically creates me a swatch book with those measurements. So if I come back to Swatch Book, here I have the same swatch book, but now the color reference is not based in my original swatch book, but is based on the real output of the system I want to match. So for example, if you look to the first column, 0A01, that has a LEB 39.4. If I go to the original one that I was always trying to match, it is 43.7. So I was not, this of course will be the accurate value, but this is not the color that the other system is printing. So this is the way to get more similar to a specific output based on color library. And since you are talking about colors, let me show you another highlight. I will just import an image for the showing you to the testing purpose. I will just click 2 times on the image. You go to the edit view. I will choose color management, for example, and here I have my 4 panels where you have the original image in here, current image. Here on the right top corner you have the original image, but including the certain like tune and some other settings. In here in the bottom left you have the printer preview, and here on the right side you have the gamut warnings. So you can see all this green area, and you probably know it from you know it already what it means. It means that these colors are out of the gamut of the printer, or out of the gamut of the print environment that you are using. So what to improve in here? Now if I come here to the top and I choose out of gamut thematic map and I click, you will see that those green areas will be changed by a gradient from green, yellow, orange and red. What it means that what is green is a color that's out of gamut, yes, but is just slightly out of gamut. And of course the way it's turning red, the red means that is not slightly, but it can be a high value out of gamut. So it will give you a better perception of what is more and less out of gamut. Of course, these tones of colors are based in specific values. That, for example, if I go to Tools, Application Defaults, User Preference, and here on Out of Gamut Map Thresholds, I can limit the delta E that I want to be the limit for each color tone. Okay, I will just click 2 times in the job to go back to the normal view. So now it's enough from the job composer, and let's go to the print queue. So now in the print and cut queue, I will not show on the cut queue, but will work the same. You have had a new setting. You already had this option in the queue manager, where you could look for specific jobs based on filter. So now you had that option in the print queue and cut queue. So for example, if I already had created some filters, I can look for jobs based on the filters I created. Like for example, I want to know which job was printed with media 2, so it will show me the ones printed with media 2. I can do which ones are printed with media 1, and it will show me. Of course, I can create more filters as I want. Like if I go here to and click in Alt, it will show me like the menus, the options that I have, like edit or select a job filter, create a new one, delete or rename a filter. So I will just go to new job filter to show you what are the options. So in here you can select from media, enter time range, and filter strings that you can turn on or off which one you want to use. So I will just turn on the media, and for example on time range I could use this one to set it based on days, on hours, or a specific time frame. For example, the one for printed, this is one is created and this one is printed. So for example, let's say that in my production I have my workers work in the 8-hour shift, and I have 2 shifts a day, and one shift is ending and the other one is starting. I maybe want to have a filter that's tell me, okay, tell to my technician which jobs have been printed in the last 8 hours, so we can just make a review of or a summary of what's been printed or not. This is the example. You can do it for more things. Of course, enter filter strings. You can set it as for the job info that you can fill in the job, and for the customer info. It gives you possibilities. Now it will depend on the workflow that you want to use. And don't forget, it is on the cut client too, in the cut queue. Okay, so now let's jump. I will just close this to the control center. I will go to home, and here in home I will choose hot folder. So what is new in the hot folder? It's not that it changed something in the hot folder, but it had something really useful. So the hot folder, you needed to. There was one small thing that you fulfill to make it easier for you. So I have here my hot folder. I will just make it bigger. So I have here hot folder 1 in the bottom and hot folder 2. So I will just create a new situation to explain you how it will can be used. So I have my hot folder 1 that I've been using for the last times, and now I decide that I want to have a second hot folder, and I want this second hot folder to be printing under the same settings as hot folder 1. And why I should to go to hot folder settings and be copying all these settings that I have on this hot folder. So what I can do now, so I don't need to copy to manually and to remember which settings I'm using, but I can come to this tool in here and I can export the settings from this auth folder. And after, I can just go to my auth folder 2, that is my new auth folder that I want to be using the same settings. Just go to auth folder settings and just import the settings from auth folder 1. So like this, I can set up auth folders with the same settings much easier and simple. Of course, that it did not just improve in the software itself, and it did other improves that are user-friendly. And one thing that he wanted to improve to make to be more user-friendly for you, or be more helpful for the users, was creating a web page called Doc Portal, Ergosoft Doc Portal. So if I open here, I will just do a logout to show you from the beginning. So we have created this new web page where you need to log in, you need to register, of course, and you need to register with your dongle, and it will give you access to this website. And with this website, you wanted to create a space where you can find information about the software in detail. So as you may know, for people that have been used Ergosoft before, like if I go to the job composer, here on help, you had this button here that you have the commentation, that if I click, I will go now to the doc portal. Before, he had the colored application notes that are these documents that add information about our tools. So now you don't have that. You have this portal where you have everything divided by its own topics, where you improve the documentation, where he had the new things, and some of them even come with videos to support you. And plus, another thing that you will find on the doc portal is now here where you will do the download from the latest versions of Ergosoft, like as you can see here. Now you have here the links to download the latest versions, plus other updates that you need for specific drivers. So now you will find everything in here. As you can see, even for version 15, you will find it here. So in this website, you will find everything you need for Ergosoft. I will just wanted to show you one thing. Let me just look for this tool. Because as before, you had the application notes as a PDF file. Now you have it in the web page, but of course you can always come to one tool documentation and go to the top right corner and click and export to PDF, and you can export this information individually for a PDF, so you can save it on your system or send it to someone. Just before I get out of the browser, I would like just to go to Ergosoft website. So now my account will not being working. So my account has been now transferred for the doc portal. But if you need more information about 16, if you come to product Ergosoft 16, here you have like a Ergosoft brochure and feature highlights. Of course, when will come new versions, you can always come here and check it by yourself. Okay, so now before we finish, I would like just to give you time for questions. So if you have any questions, please feel free to write them down in the webinar question menu. Plus, if you have other questions referring for sales, please send us an email for es.info@ergosoft.net. And if you have technical questions or you need support, you can always write us to es.support@ergosoft.net. He will gladly help you and give you the answers that you are looking for. If there are no questions, before I finish the webinar, I would like just to do a quick preview for what you can expect for the next version, the version 16.3, I'm sorry. So this will be just briefly a presentation about what you can expect on the version 16.3. There will be webinars for this version. So for sure you will get a notification of when they will be available, so you can register and have it. So on the version 16.3, you will have a new tool called Grade Tuner that will come on the Color GPS ICC tools, where we'll allow you to manipulate the tone of your gray axis, because there are sometimes some issues where your gray axis is not the tone where the tone that you like the most. So with this tool, you can shift it to tones of cyan, magenta, yellow, and or make it more greenish and so on. So can you manipulate it. You have here an example that you have a warm gray, and on the right you have like a more called gray. So you can shift it without damage. And the other colors. The print queue now will have a job counter, so you will see how much number of jobs in each list. So if you look to the bottom, you see that on RIP there are 2 jobs there. The same for the cat queue and for the queue manager. So you can see from the queue manager, you can see how many files are on the ripping process from how the production and so on. So it can be really useful for you to count what's happening in real time. Job package, this is a new thing that can make your life easier to save a specific job, because now you can export the job package. Will export the image, the print environment and the cut environment. So you can save a specific job that maybe you need that job to be approved. So you want to reprint it the same way. Of course, this job will be saved with a job ticket, HTML file, plus with a preview as a TIFF file. So even if you have it saved in the folder, you can always just open the job ticket and see which job it refers to. Another thing that will come on this version will be new barcode support, plus with the possibility to rotate. So it will be an improvement on image add-ons. Another job element will be implemented, that is for photo marks. Plus, the job ticket have some improvements. Now they will come with with some more data. Will come with the barcode. Plus, we'll have the report about the costs. So now in the job ticket, the barcode, and as you can see, all the ink consumption, the media consumption, and the cost will come on the job ticket. Of course, if it has set up before to do that. And he had some new commands to Ergosoft. The simple one, the really common ones as copy paste now will be possible to do, and other controls. If needed, you can always go to the doc portal, and there you will find the list of the commands available in Ergosoft. So with this, it came to the end of our webinar. I would like to thank to all of you to attend to the webinar. I wish that that the webinar was useful for you. And don't forget, if you have any questions, please contact us directly. Thank you to all. Bye.